What is up, everybody? Welcome to today's video. So today we're going to talk about how to set up your Instagram accounts for your SMMA. And this is essentially after my SMMA making $21,000 a month, and I've been doing this for the past 2 years, and I really love it. And I would have really appreciated somebody making this video for me in the past as I was going up to six figures, developing a six-figure agency. So let's get into it. Before I say anything else about how to set up your Instagram accounts for your SMMA, I want to help you take note of the fact that these days, people don't even ask for business cards. More often than not, when you're out in networking events, when you're meeting people, when you're getting to know other business owners, the first thing that they ask for, you for is essentially your Instagram, which is kind of crazy, right? Like, we've gotten to the point where Instagram has literally become your point of contact with somebody else in the real world. Like, literally, Google has in their search results short form videos, and more often than not, Instagram and TikTok come up. So you want to make sure that your Instagram is super top notch, so that way you never have an issue, especially when you're trying to get more clients or get people through the door in order to do business with you. So we're going to break this video up into 3 different sections. So it's your bio, your stories, and your content. First and foremost, before anything else, your bio literally gives everybody their first impression of you when you go into the platform overall. So there are 4 things that you have to have on your freaking Instagram account. The 5th one is literally a no-brainer, but like I feel like it's not even, I don't even have to mention it here, but I'll mention it anyway. So the first thing is specifically in your profile edit, right? So like as far as the description, right? So you first have to start with an I help statement. So what does that mean? The first line of your Instagram account should be, I help XYZ avatar do XYZ desired result. So for example, mine is, I help roofers grow and sell online with video, right? So the reason why this is important is because the first thing that people look at besides your profile photo is the first line of your description. And if the first thing that they read there is exactly what you do, or essentially your headline as far as like what you name yourself, right? It could be Content McGee, which you don't want to do, but either way, it's still useful. But the first thing that they're going to read is your I help statement. The clearer that you get to that specific outcome, giving an I help statement, being stupid clear about what you're giving to people and what you're offering, the better it is going to be for you whenever you're having a conversation or trying to do an outreach system like a DM outreach or cold outreach or warm outreach into your followers. And they're going to be like, oh, dang, this dude is serious. And then you have examples of that in your content, which I'll get into later. But second line into your content, as far as your Instagram description, is how do you do that? This one is optional, right? You could literally put that all into your I help statement, which I literally do. If you check out Erroneous Media, you'll literally see that I put it all into one, so just to make it a bit cleaner. But some people, they like to distinguish themselves overall by just saying like, I do social media management, I do meta ads, I do Google ads, I do et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I do AI automation, like, and that's okay. It's optional, but also good. Also, okay, looks great. The next thing, which is the most important thing, is after they read your I help statement and how do you do the thing, which is optional. Next thing is your social proof. Why are people going to do business with you if they don't know exactly what you've done? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're more likely to take advice from a physical trainer when they already helped out hundreds of people within the span of like 30 days to get 6 packs. So you're probably going to listen to that person, right? Mine is, these are the results that I've developed from a lot of my clients, is more than 100 appointments, literally 100 appointments, like appointments where people actually show up and then these, basically show up to my clients' appointment calls and whatnot. Over 50 million views, that number's still growing, and a Grammy, right? This is like, how many people do you know have made ad campaigns or made social media campaigns or SMMA campaigns that have gotten a Grammy? How many people have that many views to their name within a 2-year span? And how many people do you know have set that many appointments for their clients? Not a lot. So more often than not, people are going to see my profile and they're going to be like, dang, this guy knows his stuff, regardless of his following, regardless of his content, regardless of anything. So this dude knows his stuff. And obviously they have a conversation with me. They see my testimonials and they'll be like, dang, dude, this guy's for real. And yes, I am for real. And the last thing is basically a CTA, which the CTA is a call to action, right? You have to have a call to action on your Instagram profile, because once people get on there, once people see your social proof, once they see your content, they have to do something, right? They can't just sit there and not do anything. So you can do this in one of two ways. You can ask them to basically click the link below, which is literally below the last line, which you can put a hyperlink to whatever it is, which I'll get into that later. Or you can ask them to do a DM automation, which they basically DM you, and then it sends them a specific link, which I'll also get into later. But before any of that, we're going to talk about the link in bio, which is below, right? Which is the CTA. The link in bio is either going to be a funnel link or a booking link, right? The reason why I say this is because you could be in different positions within your current business, being your SMMA. You could be wanting to send them lead magnets so you can get more followers or more traffic to your profiles, or you can want more appointments coming into your just your schedule, overall calendar link, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is that you have to utilize your link in bio as a funnel link for whatever it is that you're trying to develop via traffic, or just to set that up for appointments via your booking link. So that's the first thing. And the fifth thing is obviously a profile pic. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer, but a lot of people tend to forget about having like a clear-cut photo, like a really great photo of yourself with some sort of background color. It doesn't matter. Maybe it could be the background color of your business. It depends on what you want to do, right? I put it in orange because my business literally has orange, roughly, kind of like a brownish sort of color, because I love brown. Anyway, the next thing is your stories, right? I feel like people are doing stories wrong, mainly because people want to post like, oh, I'm going to the gym, like, oh, I'm doing all this stuff. It's like people almost treat their stories as if they're doing a vlog, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, like, you know, sharing your life, you know, making it personal, like, so people can actually, like, you know, just connect to you better, developing your personal brand. Like, that's okay. That's completely fine. However, one really quick way to get more clients through the door, especially people who have a huge following, like let's say like over 100K followers, is to post your results on your stories of how you've helped people to get to a specific result. So let me give you an example. So like, let's say the main thing that you want to help people with is developing their personal brand, which, what does that mean? It's like more engagement, more traffic, more followers, right? Now, let's say you put like, oh, this is client A on here. This is client A who has gotten from 0 followers up to 100,000 followers with us in a 9-month time span. Let's say, for example, that's a really great example. Then people are going to be like, oh, dang, like that's cool. And then you have multiple examples of that happening in your stories, and you have a call to action. You're basically giving people more of a reason to do business with you overall, right? So that could be with anything. That could be with like, oh, look how many followers I got this person. Look how many leads I got this person. Look how many appointments I have gotten this person. Look how many closes I got in this person. And that's with anything in SMMA, because more so than anything, SMMA, the main intention is to get a desired result dependent on what your ideal client avatar is looking for on social media, right? Whether it be followers, leads, appointments, closes, traffic, doesn't matter. But it's a really great idea to basically post your results for one client, before and afters, just like you would do in an ad, right? And literally just post that once a day. And everything else could be the vlog stuff, the personal stuff, like this is what's happening in the business, the BTS, this, that, and whatever. But mainly, if you just make that one thing consistent, like literally a before and after of some of the really great results that you've gotten for clients in the past, you're never going to not see clients in your calendar. I promise you. And I feel like it's super important. I started doing this, and it's helped me tremendously. So just make sure you do that. And I learned this from the real Brian Mark, who's absolutely amazing. Check out his channel. Check out all of his socials. He's basically on everything. And the last thing is just to make sure that your content is up to par with not only your description, with your stories and everything else. The way that you do that is that you start to realize what is going on with Meta right now, right? So they just put out a new update within just Meta overall, which is called Andromeda, right? Which doesn't necessarily take into account the content that you're making. It only takes into account the amount of time somebody is on the platform, on your content, and how much engagement is generated via the videos that are being watched. What does that mean? So if somebody watches your video and they're on there for like the whole 10 seconds of your video, guess what? The algorithm is going to send that video to other people because it deems it as valuable. So then what does that mean? Do I have to make content that people genuinely like? Yes, absolutely. However, that's not necessarily forgetting about the content that you would make for your business and tell people about what you do and stuff and whatnot. But it's also just making it apparent to make content as wide as possible in addition to content about your business. Let me explain. So 50% of your content should be wide as hell. What does that mean? So it basically takes upon your die on the cross beliefs about life, travel, observations of society, and just controversial takes. Essentially being opinionated about specific things within your life, genuinely things that you believe in, with no call to action overall. And the way that you can do this is in 4 different ways, right? So the first is Yap videos in those subsections of observation society, life advice, controversial takes, and just essentially what I described before. In addition to green screen videos, because they're always going to be relevant, right? You can literally go on the news and be like, all right, a really great example where I explain this is literally the tariffs. Tariffs was a huge thing this year, in 2025, especially because it just got passed in April, right? And we're probably going to see effects of them in December, because usually when laws pass out, it's literally 9 months out before they even come into effect. But anyway, a really great example is the tariffs. For example, let's say if you're a photographer, or you're an SMMA, I should say SMMA, right? SMMA owner, right? It's this is how the tariffs are going to affect photography. And this is how the tariffs are going to affect camera purchases, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know exactly what I mean. It's essentially that it's super important because it's relevant, right? So you got Yap videos, you got green screens, and then 2 more things actually. You got vlogs too. So vlogging, more so than anything else, has had a huge uptick in the market over anything. And the reason why I say this is because there's a lot of people that are really interested within the BTS of your life, right? Literally, it's what does Pedro do? What does Pedro like to do when he's not working? How many hours is he working? Does he go to the gym? Does he take care of his body? Of course I do. But what does he believe in? This, that, and whatever, which can also be demonstrated through vlogs. Because at the end of the day, people buy people, they don't buy companies, which is a huge reason why Elon Musk has more followers than Tesla ever will and ever does. Reason being is because certain people, depending on what trajectory you're on or what side you're on, you either like Elon or not. And it's the same thing with everybody else. It's if you like somebody, you're going to follow them to the ends of the earth as long as they align with your moral beliefs, right? Your ethical compass. So my thing is that vlogging is a really great way to get an insight of who these people are and what they believe in. Not including Yap videos and green screen videos. That's just an additional version. Now, the last thing is viral content, right? It's recreating viral content within your niche and basically putting your own spin on it. Be essentially entertainment, right? Because a lot of people, they go onto these platforms not to learn something. They literally come on here to basically be entertained. So then what does that mean? Is do I have to be making viral content all the time? No, you don't have to be making viral content all the time. Just every once in a while, you see a really cool or funny post that somebody put up and it happens to be related with SMMA overall. And then you're just okay, cool, I'm going to make one too. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if it takes 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes to make. You know what I'm saying? It's don't put so much freaking effort into your videos, because more so than anything else, volume always outperforms quality. Quantity will always outperform quality. All these people with the stupid edits and the dopamine edits and all this other stuff, it's just they're seeing a hard time to even put out content overall, because they have to put it through a certain number of SOPs. They have to put it through a bunch of different checks and balances in order just to put it out. Doesn't necessarily mean you don't want to put out quality content. However, I would focus more on what Ryan McGinn says, and if you want to check out his platform, you can definitely check him out. This is something that I learned from Ryan McGinn, is that you should be more obsessed with sharing more of your opinions and more of your conviction about the things that you believe in and who you are as a person, rather than trying to get the best quality video, the best quality audio, all this, that, and the third, all the time. There is a time and place for that. However, if you want to make sure that quantity is at the forefront of your business, especially as an SMMA, especially since you're on social media, then definitely think about making more quantity over quality. And you could do it in one of four ways, being the Yap videos, the green screens, the vlogs, and the viral content being entertainment. And the next 50% of your content should be about your business, right? And it's essentially what you do, your founder background, and the services you provide. So like, for example, what I do in SMMA is that I focus on ads. What I do in SMMA is AI automation. What I do in SMMA is organic content. What I do in SMMA is editing. Like there are certain things that you could do now in SMMA, that SMMA is so huge as a service, literally that we are all service providers, that now you can do so many things under this umbrella and be fine. Like you can make a 6-figure business in no time. Literally, I did in 8 months. So my thing is, it's like, you take advantage of the fact that you can make these videos. Like this includes BTS. This includes the fact that you're on films and like on filming sessions and shoots. This includes including like client interviews and testimonials and stuff like that. So essentially, what do you do, founder background, and your services overall. And the last thing is, which I forgot to mention, this is more like a secret for all the people who have stayed up until this time, because literally at 60 minutes, is essentially automations. Automation above anything else is essentially going to take your business from 6 figs to multiple 6 figs. The reason why I say this is because now you have a system. Because usually with SMMA, the way that you grow is by adding more people, like more employees, more people working for you, whether it be remotely or in person. But automations work as a system that you can definitely consistently use over time to collect more cash for different things, right? And 2 softwares that I absolutely recommend is Go High Level and ManyChat. The reason being is because they just literally have taken like the industry by storm, and the amount of things that you could do with ManyChat and Go High Level is ridiculous. But as far as automation on the chat side or the lead magnet side, or more so than anything else, you could set up workflows that are just up the wazoo, that can tailor to a bunch of different people with different types of scripts, meaning like personalized messaging, using their first name, the amount of tags that you can use depending on what you set up for everybody else. I'm not going to go into how you can set these up and whatnot, but these are essentially the 3 things plus the additional secret for all the people who hung out in order to set up your SMMA properly on Instagram for success. And if you got value out of this video, make sure to like and subscribe, because I put videos out like this every single week and you don't want to miss them. Otherwise, if you happen to be a contractor or a roofer specifically, like, or a bit kitchen and bathroom installer, et cetera, and you want an appointment setting system on autopilot, click the first link in the description. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Peace.